Yo, this is a stream highlight. If you not fucking with me, if you not fucking with me live, bro. I'm live right now on twitch.tv/Chubka, bro. Fuck with me. The link is in the description if you really want to come kick it with a nigga, bro. We watch these shits live, bro. Live. Where you at? You not you where you at if you not there, bro? You fucking up, my nigga. You fucking up. Yo, yo, a nigga, yo, a nigga, yo. Nigga got the enhancements, bro. A nigga done got the nigga what? Nigga didn't got the enhancements, bro. Nigga didn't got the enhancements. I ain't had a haircut in a year. Nigga ain't had a haircut in a year. I've been cutting my own hair in this motherfucker. Nigga done got clean. Nigga, I'ma pull your mom. I'ma pull your mom. Where your mom at? Where your mom at, nigga? Where your mom, nigga? Where your mom at, nigga? But let's get into these videos. I got a couple of videos for us lined up. We gonna get this shit up, my nigga. We gonna get this shit up. I got a couple of videos lined up for y'all. I done seen, bro, that shit going up on YouTube, bro. That shit got 1K views. And on the other one, other one got 1K point something. Both of them, bro. Thanks for fucking with it. If y'all fucking with it, come to the Twitch, bro. But we finna get this motherfucker started. Let me get my remote. Where the fuck the remote at? Where the fuck the remote? It ain't too many people in the live stream right now. It's just me right here. But if people join along the time, if people join along the time I'm streaming, fuck it, they join. Let me turn the TV down though. But we got a couple videos lined up for y'all. I got a couple videos lined up. I'm talking like I got a different personality. I do. I'm in my fresh mood. Nigga, why? Hold up. I'm gonna get copyrighted. Let's get it. Oh shit. For the stream. Y'all didn't see that. Ignore that. Y'all didn't see shit. But we gonna start with
We're gonna search
fuck
it.
it. Which one seem interesting?
Well, no, we have the gun.
Which one seem
because
interesting?
they're here.
Okay, just shut up.
Which one seem interesting?
Domino's pepperoni
Which one
stuffed
seem
cheesy bread is
interesting?
loaded with pepperoni. It's kind of like your favorite
Yo,
pizzas.
I hate when they do this shit. Which one we got on? Let's see. It's been a number of times where like I would like if I like I realized I was just being filmed, bro. Like I ain't killed nobody, but like I realized like damn, I could actually did some crazy ass shit if I didn't realize I was still streaming or recording or something. But let's get into it. Let me know if the audio right too. If y'all watching this, let me know if the audio right. Don't be a weirdo nigga just watching the video and not telling me what's wrong with the video. If it's something wrong with it, tell me, bro. But let's get this shit. Let's get this shit.
What you got? Leave your hands out of the vehicle.
Beloved cheerleader Emma Walker was just a few months into her junior year at Central High School in Knoxville, Tennessee, when her life met a tragically abrupt end. Initially, it seemed it was some sort of terrible accident. There was no other way to explain it. However, investigators would soon untangle a twisted web of lies and uncover the horrific reality. Someone had wanted Emma dead. Growing up, Emma's ultimate dream was to become a
trying to kill
neonatal
Emma?
ICU nurse someday. And the honor student was putting in
That's
the
good. Some of these women they
necessary
wanna
effort
grow up
to
and become an
get there. She
OnlyFans
was
model.
making
So
the
at least
most
you
of
wanna
high
become
school,
something.
and her innate ability
That's
to
gonna make a
excel
difference in the
her
world, you
endeavors
know.
was also
And I wanna
exhibited
grow
in
up and
her role
turn
on the
into an
cheerleading
OnlyFans
squad. Her
star.
third year had just gotten underway, and she was loving it. Then, the morning of Monday, November 21st, arrived. Like she'd done so many times before, Jill went to her daughter's room to wake Emma for school around 6 o'clock. Right away, it was apparent that something was terribly wrong.
Paramount. Stay on the line. I'm transferring you to Rural Metro.
What the fuck?
Word of the mysterious tragedy spread quickly. Among those hit particularly hard by the devastating news of Emma's death was her boyfriend of 2 years, Riley Gall. The two had first met in the fall of Emma's freshman year at Central High. She was the only freshman to secure a spot on the cheerleading squad. It was right around then that Emma caught the attention of junior and star wide receiver Riley Gall. It came as no surprise that the two were soon inseparable. A steady stream of posts with photos saturated their social media
I already
feeds,
know that nigga did it.
documenting the fun times.
It's always the first nigga we like. The
There
first
were
person like, oh yeah, they
collages such as
did
the
it,
one
bro.
that read,
Because they
"Look how
always
lucky
is,
I
bro.
am," posted
obvious,
by Emma
bro.
in May of 2016. By the time that fall of 2016 rolled around, Emma and Riley were 2 years into their relationship. Emma, now a junior, remained a dedicated
wish I
member
could
of
have
the
a
cheerleading
relationship
squad
2
at
years.
Central High.
Long
Though
as
Riley had
bitch don't try
graduated
and
that
kill me or
previous
some weird
spring,
shit.
he stayed close to his hometown and was attending Maryville College, where he quickly made a name for himself as a wide receiver on the football team. Then, just a few months into the new school year, young Emma was gone. As routine procedure goes, the Knox County Sheriff's Office immediately began speaking with those closest to Emma. Riley was brought in that evening on the outside chance that he might be able to aid in the investigation. Based on a tweet from earlier that day, he was very distraught, and understandably so. "That's my beautiful Emma. Rest easy now, sweetheart," it read. And it just so happens, word has gotten back to law enforcement that Riley has some particularly eerie information to share. Apparently, Emma had been receiving threatening text messages from an unknown source during the course of the previous weekend. The detectives start with brief introductions, then get a technical matter out of the way. The following footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a licensed professional counselor.
Before we get started, I understand you're not under arrest right now. You came down on your free with your granddad and your mom. But because you're in a secure area, I have to read you your rights, okay? Because basically if you're in a position that you can't get up and leave and get out on your own, they technically look at that in court as being in custody. But understand you're not in custody. I've not put handcuffs on you. I've not told you you've been charged with anything or anything. It's just a formality.
After Riley has read his rights, they engage him in a bit of small talk and efforts to build rapport, establish a baseline, and make him feel comfortable.
While we're waiting on him, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know obviously you played football at Maryville College.
Cool.
I'm assuming you played football in high school.
Yes.
What position?
Wide receiver, cornerback, punt return, kick return, punter.
You must be pretty good. Well, you kicked Hall's butt all over the place last year, so that's been your senior year, right? Yeah, it's always painful to lose to you guys, but good luck. Hang in there and stay at it, work at it.
A few minutes later, the detectives dive into the true reason for the meeting. They ask Riley to provide a timeline of his whereabouts over the previous weekend.
Let's start with Friday. What, do you have classes during the day?
Wednesday, Friday, I have an 8 a.m. and a 9 a.m. And Tuesday, Thursday, I have a 6 a.m. and an 11 a.m. And then the other class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday is a 1 p.m.
Wow. You stay pretty busy, don't you? Let's start with Friday. You get out of class at 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. What happens from there?
Riley explains that he headed to his grandparents' home that evening, then went to his friend Noah's home shortly after, where he spent the night. Then, according to Riley, his seemingly normal morning took a chilling turn, and it all started with a message from Emma.
And she was kind of acting frantic over the phone, and she said that someone was trying to get into her house. Somebody was dressed in all black. They had a face mask on. She said that she saw them. She said she thought they were just taking a walk in the neighborhood, and then when she passed them to pull into her driveway, they put on a pair of glasses. And they started, she said they kind of sped up, so she went into the garage and shut the garage, and that's when I dropped all the stuff I was in at my stepdad's house and drove all the way to her neighborhood.
Do you have, did you say she texted you that information?
She texted me like, she was asking if it was me at first, and I told her, no, what's going on, and that's when she FaceTime called me. She was crying and freaking out, so I said, okay, give me a minute, I'll come down there and check it out.
That's a real boyfriend. That's a real nigga. Props. Somebody stalking my bitch. That's the only time I might go to jail for a woman, bro. Like, not on no cheating shit. I never go to jail for something like over like, oh, my bitch cheating type shit. But it's to defend her type shit. Most definitely, bro.
It's a really big part of our engine.
That's part of why you there.
Riley raced to Emma's home, and approximately 10 minutes later, he arrived.
I went to her backyard, made sure, nobody was back there, checked under the porch and everything. Looked up and down the street.
But by that time...
Then again, why didn't she tell the parents? Where the parents at? Now that I really think about it, where the parents?
A surveillance camera captured a few seconds of footage as the man walked down the street. Riley returned to Noah's house somewhere around 8 p.m. and stayed the night once again.
Time do you leave and where do you go Sunday morning?
I don't know what time I woke up, but when I woke up, I went back to my grandparents and then went back over to Noah's house. And I got back to campus around 11:30, 11:45.
Naturally, the college freshman had left his homework until somewhere around midnight Monday morning.
Oh, so this college. Okay. I'm thinking high school. I don't know why I'm thinking high
I tried
school.
logging in onto my Miracle College email, but I realized I couldn't because I was logged in on my grandparents' my grandmother's laptop back in Knoxville, and it was late, almost 12:30, 12:15 or 12:30 around there. So I didn't think they were awake, so I drove back to Knoxville because I needed to do my homework, and I logged myself out of the laptop at my grandparents' house. My grandfather was awake though. He saw me log out of the laptop, and from there I left.
It's intriguing that Riley felt the need to emphasize how his grandfather saw him log out of the laptop.
Yeah.
Almost as if he's expecting that the
Just
detectives would
everything.
think he's lying about why he went
I
home.
got it on my fucking cover. That is another thing too. Cause he being like punctual with his statements. He said like, and then this, then and that. I noticed that I was logged into mine, so I went back to the. It just seemed weird. Like, yeah, that's what they want you to do, but it just seemed weird. He's saying all this to make it seem like he's not lying, or to where like, bro, I was doing this, that, and that, so I couldn't have did it. So I don't know, bro. You seem a little suspicious, bro.
When someone who's being
I ain't
questioned
gonna lie,
acts
bro.
defensive before they have even been accused of something, it can be seen by law enforcement as a possible sign of deception.
I ended up not doing any of my homework. Instead, I got back to campus around 1 a.m. and just sat in my car for about 2.5 hours, and just wept. 4:30.
I know this nigga did it, bro.
Around then, and that's when I woke up to people calling me about what had happened. Well, first he had texted me, and he was like, hey man, I'm sorry about what happened. So I was like, what are you talking about? And he called me after that, and he said, did you not hear what happened? I said, no, what are you talking about? And he said, they found Emma dead in her bed this morning, or unresponsive is what he told me. And that's when I started freaking out, having a breakdown. So my parents, or my mom and my grandmother, were coming out to campus to get me. They probably got there around 9-ish, 9:30, somewhere around there.
As soon as he starts talking about being told about Emma's death, Riley starts stroking his face. This is a self-soothing behavior indicative of heightened anxiety. This could be because the topic is distressing for him, which would be understandable, or a hint that maybe something else about the topic makes him nervous. Although some dismiss nonverbal analysis as pseudoscience, and whether or not the viewer agrees with it, it is used by the FBI, CIA, and police during interrogations, which is why we include it. When the CIA is interrogating an individual, they look for clusters of 3 or more indicators that occur in either quick succession or all at once. These indicators can be signs of discomfort or uncertainty in what the individual is stating, rather than indicators of deception. It's extremely important to note that you cannot detect deception through nonverbal analysis alone.
Okay. So then once your grandparents got you and you went back to their house?
My mom and my grandmother did.
Yeah. Is that, they came got you and that's where you went? Back to grandparents?
I spent all day at my grandparents' house today.
Until
now.
Gotcha.
After a comprehensive run-through of Riley's previous weekend, the detectives transitioned to the sensitive subject of his longtime girlfriend's unexpected death. Perhaps Riley can provide something for law enforcement to go on. A detail that may seem insignificant to him may be the very information needed to crack the case.
Tell me what you know about Emma's passing. I know there's been all kinds of rumors and speculation. What have you heard?
I've tried to tune all of it out because I've heard so many different things. I've heard she just passed in her sleep. I heard she tried to commit. I heard a stray bullet came to the wall, but that made no sense to me because it's her room. If a stray bullet hit the wall, it's from, it would have to be from the backyard because that's where her window is.
So it actually did happen.
Those are the main three.
Who have you talked to? Where have you heard these rumors about passing in her sleep and all that stuff?
I've had a bunch of my friends visit me today at my grandparents' house, and they would just tell me different stuff that they've heard from different people.
Okay.
Riley has been fidgeting and spinning his seat throughout the interview so far. But as soon as the detectives start asking
I'm
about
spinning
Emma's
in my
death
chair, nigga.
and the rumors surrounding it, he also begins picking at his fingers, which is typically an anxiety response.
Okay. Do you remember who told you the stray bullet?
Yeah, it was actually about an hour ago when he showed up. His name's Jacob.
How do you know Jacob?
We've been friends since 2nd grade.
Did he say where he heard the stray bullet theory?
No, he said it was the same thing, like hearsay. He said he probably said that didn't sound right to him either, but...
Horrifyingly so, it seems that the detectives are beginning to consider that the killer could be hiding in plain sight, disguised as a grieving friend. Perhaps they even paid Riley a visit in an attempt to avoid suspicion, simply playing the part of another young mourner expressing condolences to the longtime boyfriend of the deceased. Detectives have collected potential leads in Riley's visitors from earlier that day, and with this, the entire trajectory of the investigation has drastically changed.
Can you think of anyone that would want to hurt Emma?
Not off the top of my head, no. Because, I mean,
She had any enemies?
No. She had no enemies that would want to hurt her. I mean, she had high school drama enemies, but, like, just girls she didn't like, but none that would do that.
She kind of got along with everybody. I mean, I don't know.
She was very likable. She was friends with most anybody that she talked to.
The last time you talked to her, you said was Sunday?
Sunday night.
Sunday
I don't
night.
know, you seem kind of suspicious, because to me it sounds like she a little too friendly. You know?
No.
Maybe she was too friendly with a nigga, bro, and then you didn't like that, you know?
House Saturday morning. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard that she had passed this morning.
Then, a completely unexpected revelation is brought to light, and it changes everything.
You got people that are mad at you, that are trying to hurt you or anything?
Not that I know of, I don't know.
And nobody tried to kidnap you or
kidnap me?
Yeah.
Repeating the question can be a red flag to detectives. It could mean that the person being interviewed needs time to think about their response. A deceptive individual likely wants to prevent awkward silences after a question, as that could seem suspicious. However, if they need a moment to consider what they should say, they might repeat the question to fill that conversation gap.
What was it about?
I didn't want to... I'm sorry, I just didn't want to talk about it because it was traumatizing. I didn't know what to make of it.
And that's pretty important for us to probably know. I mean, somebody trying to kidnap.
But I don't know, like... I don't know anything about it.
Notice the weak movement Riley makes here. It's a half-hearted shrug and his hands barely raise. Throughout, his illustrators have been minimal. We don't have anything of him before the interview to really compare to, but it's an atypical behavior for people in general to have such weak nonverbals. Illustrators help people make points while they speak. In contrast, restrained gesturing is believed to be a telltale sign of deception.
When did this alleged kidnapping take place?
Friday.
This past Friday? When did that happen?
Sometime night. I just don't know. I don't remember much about it. I just remember two guys. Literally, I was
Well, let me eat my chips.
Friday night.
Hold up. She finna eat my chips already. You know, she probably threw the whole bag already. Bruh. I knew it. I knew it. This motherfucker ate all my chips. You can't have shit, bro. You can never have shit, bro. You can't even have fun, my nigga. You can't do shit, bro. You can't do nothing.
Before I got to Noah's, went up to my stepdad's house, and I pulled in the driveway, and this van pulled up.
See, at least that worked out for me, you know.
These two guys were like walking across the street. I didn't think anything of it because they weren't like in a rush. And I turned around, I'm about to get in my car, next thing I know, one of them grabs my back, the other one's around the corner, and they just like put their hands over my face and just took me to their van or whatever.
Finally, we see Riley use larger nonverbal indicators. His palms are up, in a position usually indicating that he's asking to be believed or trying to be convincing. But they don't fit with his words. His hands just sit there for quite a long time, with no words to go along with it.
And then what happened?
I don't remember much. They just had me, I couldn't see anything. They had something over my eyes. I haven't told my mom or anybody about this.
Oh, really?
No.
Why not?
Bro, throw this nigga in jail. He lying.
So, I mean, you ain't got any money?
No.
You gambling days? You gamble?
No.
So these guys just randomly picked you out for no reason?
I guess.
Yeah,
Riley's
bro's
account
capping.
sounds a bit questionable, especially because he doesn't give a clear reason as to why he can't remember much of it. He's also left out any mention of his feelings during the event, and only mentions being
They didn't want no money
terrified
from
to
you,
justify
no
why he
nothing. They
hasn't
just
told
threw you in
his
the van.
mom
They didn't
about
take
it.
your booty or nothing.
Most people who were telling the truth about something major, such as being kidnapped, will express what their emotions were at the time. This is because their emotions are tied to the memory of the traumatic event. When someone leaves these details out, it can be a red flag for possible deception. But the question is, what could he be leaving out? That same night, Emma had attended a gathering at a friend's home after the football game. It was somewhere around 11:30 p.m. when she began receiving alarming text messages from an unfamiliar phone number.
Good news.
Bruh.
Universal Technical Institute's automotive
This
technology
shit about
program is
dirty
made
as
for
hell.
aspiring auto techs. Here, students learn from
They did ask me, they were like,
E&J already nasty. Just imagine E&J with an apple type of flavor.
and I said, Emma.
That shit tastes like
Text messages
ass.
instructed Emma to go outside. They stated that they had her loved one in their possession, and if she didn't comply with their demands, he'd be hurt.
And they made me call Emma. She wouldn't answer my phone multiple times, so they used their phone. And I was just crying and screaming. She thought it was a joke. She thought I was playing a prank on her.
Riley has been fidgeting with his hands and moving in his seat this entire time. This indicates that he's been letting off his excess energy, which is going to be a red flag to the officers that he may be hiding something. The fact that Emma thought Riley was playing a joke on her could suggest that he had done something in the past to make her doubt his sincerity. A friend accompanied Emma outside, and that was when they located Riley, lying face down in a nearby ditch. According to her friend, Riley appeared to be disoriented.
I woke up where Emma was.
Where was that?
In her friend's yard. It's right off Tassel Pike. I literally remember then my head ached for the rest of the night when I got back to Nose after that.
Did you tell no one them about it?
Yeah. They thought I was messing with them. That's why I haven't talked to anyone about it, because no one would take me seriously.
It's interesting that Riley still hasn't asked exactly
Why
what
wouldn't they
happened
take you
to Emma.
serious,
Most people would ask
Why
at
would they
some
take you
point,
serious?
while maybe not early on since they don't want to interrupt investigators. They wouldn't want to sit through the entire interview without asking for some kind of information about what happened. This is likely a red flag to detectives. After acquiring the information they need for the time being, the detectives conclude their interview with Riley.
I do want to thank you for coming in and talking to us, Riley. I do appreciate that.
It's clear that investigators know Emma didn't take her own life, but instead believe something far more sinister occurred. Though the information hasn't yet been made public, they're aware that Emma died as a result of a single gunshot, the bullet having traveled through the exterior of her house before striking Emma in the head.
Damn, so that bullet killed her.
Law enforcement is approached by friends of Emma who strongly suspect they know the identity of the killer. They want to assist in the investigation. In fact, they believe they can get their hands on the very weapon that might have been used to murder Emma earlier that same morning, if the rumors that she died of a gunshot wound are accurate. You see, the person they suspect is also a close friend of theirs. In addition, one of the teens has recently witnessed something quite coincidental. The suspect had recently acquired a firearm. In fact, he'd gone so far as to show it to one of them. With the friends having come forward, the idea that the killer is among them has gained even more credibility, disturbing as it is. Despite the potential dangers of which they're warned, the amateur detectives opt to go through with the sting operation on November 22nd, just one day after Emma had died. A plan is constructed, and the friends are wired and equipped with a hidden camera.
I'll do that. Dude, all of you. There's nobody else I'd rather be going into this shit with. Nobody else I could go into this shit with. Holy shit, man. This is insane. Just go do your thing.
Damn, so these
All
niggas
right.
is recording this shit
Everyday
all
life,
the
man.
time.
Everyday life. Go do your thing. Let's go play some Modern Warfare. There you go. This is just another day.
So they didn't wait. So they didn't know
That light's still on?
he's being filmed.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Guys, do your thing. Thanks, guys.
And with the short briefing from
Or they was
detectives,
filming, they
the
didn't know they was
precarious mission
filming?
headed by a brave couple of teens is underway. The friends return to one of their homes and prepare for the suspect to arrive.
So, dude. Okay, that's a bit. Me and we're back in the crib. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, I'll walk out there. Alright, I'll see you. Why did he say that? Why did he say he just wanted to talk to me? No. Holy why does he really talk to him? I don't know, man. I don't know. All I can think about is that he would trust you more than me. Which, I mean, yeah, because I was been bullshitting him harder. Alright, FYI, guys, my roommate is not home. He's going to be at work till about like 1 or 2 a.m. tonight.
One of the friends
So they
updates
do know
law
they're recording.
enforcement who's listening in. The suspect is due to arrive in just a few minutes. The hidden camera is strategically placed just before the suspect enters with his friend, and both take a seat on the couch. Apparently, the two had a short conversation outside, and the suspect would like for his friends to accompany him on an errand of sorts. But before they get to that, they speculate on Emma's potential manner of death. We know that very little information has been made public, and they only have rumors to go on. Well, two of them at least. We suspect that the third knows everything.
They would have automatically ruled out any kind of suicide, or I mean, not ruled it out, but like, if she would have got shot through the wall, you don't just get shot and die instantly unless you get hit in the throat or in the head. Yeah. Unless she got shot directly in the heart, but still, even that, like, you're gonna feel that, wake up, and be able to try and like crawl out of your bed.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, I still don't understand how she died.
It's likely that no part
These
of this
niggas use
discussion is
wall
medically
hack.
accurate, but the undercover friends
They were
play along in
using
an
wall
attempt to get more
hacks, bro.
information from the suspect, and
What
the
the fuck?
speculation continues.
I might have to change my bed
If she
around.
would got shot through the wall, then she would, like, say it hits her in
I'm
the
gonna have
stomach.
to change my
Say
bed
someone
around.
shot her on the wall, hit her in the stomach. She's going to wake up. You don't just get shot and lay there.
Yeah, I don't see how she wouldn't scream or something, like anything.
And she just laid.
Unless it was just like a ridiculous shot.
If it hit her in the head, then they would have saw that.
Well, yeah, but you don't know. They could have walked in and seen her just.
Well, but they would have seen
Because it was a murder investigation from early that morning.
As far as I know,
Like, they never thought, they always
don't know
knew it was a
anything
homicide.
about how she was found or when she was found.
Because
whenever
that's
you
what we
hear,
hear.
yeah, exactly. Whatever
They
you
always
hear
knew it was a
wherever you
homicide.
hear it from could not be true.
They knew it was a homicide from the first second because they put in protective custody.
You serious?
Yeah.
The suspect is clearly alarmed by this information. The thought of a friend having been murdered would be quite devastating to hear. However, it's much more probable that the shock is from knowing that if her death was in fact a homicide, then law enforcement's main focus will be to locate the killer. Which brings us to our next important topic of conversation.
But I'm trusting you guys, like, with my life, because I mean, this is 70 years in jail if I get convicted of something I did do. And
What the fuck?
are you busy?
Y'all see I'm not touching that shit, right? That shit tweaking.
Well, can we go to the bluffs? Because I need to get rid of the bluff. I'm gonna throw it in the water. They'll never find it in the river.
I'll try to get the water with like rocks.
Well,
We did it with beer bottles.
sure. We can go on the smaller ledge that really looks out of the water.
I mean, I got your back, man.
I just need
Jesus Christ, dude, I got your back.
if it's in the Tennessee River, they will never find it. So that's why I just want to eliminate that from the equation as a whole.
I feel you. Cover your bases.
Is this the boyfriend?
I mean, I feel you. That's your decision.
Well, do you guys want to go right now?
I'm fine. Let me grab a snack. Start. You want a hot pocket?
I'm starving.
I'm so hungry.
I would love a hot pocket.
That nigga got an iPhone 6.
After preparing a
What
couple
year
of
is
hot
this, bro?
pockets, the teens depart. Not far from the University of Tennessee campus, known as the Bluffs. It's possible that the suspect isn't just looking.
Is that shit copyrighted? Hold up.
By involving
I
his
think that's
friends
on
in the
copyright. Why do you got that in the
disposal of
ad, bro?
He's likely trying to protect himself. If he gets them to help, they'll be more likely to follow his plan of lying to the police about what they know of the gun, and he'll be able to hold their involvement over them. They won't want legal consequences for their part in getting rid of potential evidence, so they'll feel more motivated to lie for the suspect.
Please don't turn left on the side of the street. I'm gonna try to jump the fence, my car, and snatch it.
Is that right here?
Well, I'll go around to the church.
Oh, okay.
Alright, I'll be back. You're not back in 2
Who's
minutes.
recording this shit though?
Less than 4 nerve-wracking minutes later, the suspect returns to the vehicle.
I just want to throw it and be done. Oh my god, I can feel it. Like I just don't pay attention. I think there's gloves up here too, so I can put those on. Well, I'm saying like the glove. I think there's gloves.
Nigga, you didn't already use. He didn't. That's another. He didn't clean the gun off or nothing.
Take it out. I'll fucking go.
He probably got the ammo on his finger too. He probably got his fingerprint on the ammo too.
Bullets individually. Throw the clip.
He just throwing that motherfucker in there. Don't that
Judging
shit
by
stay on the
fact that
weapon?
suspect keeps repeating how he wants to get rid of the gun. It seems
Even
that
if
he's
it's in
assuming
water
that
or
getting
some
rid
shit?
of the gun will mean that police will not have any evidence that points to him. They make one more detour and stop for some gas and fast food. The suspect, seated in the front passenger seat, hasn't allowed Emma's death to affect his appetite.
That's gonna be your last
About 15
meal.
minutes later, they arrive at the Bluffs,
Nigga
and the
eating good,
horrifying
bro.
moment of truth has almost arrived.
Dude, let me see this thing. I don't know if you should touch it. Unless you have photos on, I just don't. I mean, they don't have my fingerprints in any database. Hey, dude, bro, you got arrested. Yeah, but it
This nigga is dumb.
Oh my god. What? This is a real gun.
The utter magnitude of the reality has to
Nah,
be
shit,
overwhelming
nigga.
as they lay their eyes on the very weapon that they believed was used to end Emma's life. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, the teens are rudely awakened to find that they're not alone.
What the?
What you mean by that?
Oh my god, what the? What the?
Everybody put your hands out of the vehicle now.
Where they followed them?
Yep. Hold what you got. Leave your hands out of the vehicle.
Amid the
They didn't even get
chaos,
to throw
in
that
just
motherfucker.
seconds, the suspect will be ordered to exit the vehicle, and all those present are aware that he's in the possession of the suspected murder weapon. If the suspect feels like he has nothing left to lose and senses that his friends betrayed him, he may choose to take revenge.
So this is a setup the whole time.
Yes. Open the door from the outside.
I'm thinking then. My whole thought process was this was the recording leading up to her death. Like I understood it was after a certain point, but when I first was seeing this video footage, I was thinking this recording was them planning to do it,
Do you understand? Yes. Do not move your hands.
and then them getting rid of the gun after. But this whole thing was a setup to begin with, just the recording.
Right there. Right there. Move the bag back toward the seat. Yep. Okay. Hey, Merritt. Yep. Just pull that bag enough and just to see the serial number. Just to see the serial number. How good do you want to look at this? You want me to start and see her blood for a hold and see if we can take care of Noah on his, I'll call, goddamn right, boys.
And with that, the serial number was confirmed to belong to a gun that has, very recently, landed itself on law enforcement's radar. It had been kept under the driver's seat of the owner's vehicle until, on November 18th, when he realized it was missing. And here's where it all begins to come crashing down. On November 20th, James Walker reported his Glock 9mm pistol stolen. Though James and Emma's family share a surname, they are of no relation. James, however, is related to someone else who's very close to the case. His grandson happens to be none other than the grieving boyfriend, Riley Gall. That's right, the suspect was actually Riley all along. In addition to the firearm,
I knew it!
Evidence was recovered, including the gloves we heard mention of, and black clothing that would later confirm that Riley was likely the suspicious man dressed in black. As it turns out, there's much more to this convoluted story than initially meets the eye. Let's take a closer look into the events that transpired over those 2 years. What you're about to see will paint a picture of a tumultuous roller coaster of a relationship, remarkably different than what you've seen so far. It all started when that freshman cheerleader caught the eye of that star wide receiver.
We dated on and off for about 2 years, until about 2 weeks ago is when she really cut it off. I had cut it off in the past before, she had cut it off before. It just kind of went back and forth. It would be months at a time, and then we'd have a small fallout, and then we'd get back together.
It wasn't far into the relationship
It
before
was
Emma's
obvious.
friends and family began to see concerning signs. Emma's friends observed Riley exhibit
This nigga's
behavior
abusive.
that they could only describe as controlling, possessive, and clingy.
That nigga
Riley
seemed like he
wanted
was doing
Emma
some
to
shit like,
himself,
yeah.
And according to Emma's mom, Jill, Riley even attempted to control what Emma wore. This sort of jealousy and possessiveness is typical of abusive relationships. The perpetrator essentially treats the victim like a possession rather than a human being. It is common for perpetrators of abusive relationships to have antisocial personality disorder. Individuals with this personality disorder often have a need to dominate others and use others to fulfill their own emotional needs. Along with this, Riley quickly became obsessed with Emma and their relationship. Their relationship seems to have followed the 3 stages of obsession. The first is the absorbed stage. The initial attachment is extreme, and everything becomes serious very early on. The obsessive partner places the other partner in a specific role, which is consistent with Riley's attempt to dictate what Emma wore. Next comes the agitated stage. As the relationship progresses, the obsessive partner increasingly attempts to control the other. They text, call, or email numerous times a day. They're jealous of anyone or anything that takes time away from the relationship and attempt to isolate their partner from friends and family. The third and final stage is the aggressive stage, which typically starts when either previously successful attempts at controlling the partner have failed, or the partner has ended the relationship. At this point, the obsessive partner ups the ante. They may suddenly show up to places uninvited. They may alternate between pleas to reunite and vows of vengeance. For some desperate or disturbed individuals, the behavior can escalate to stalking, threats, or physical violence. As it turns out, in the midst of those breakups Riley referenced, he'd send Emma the most vile
That
of
nigga look like
messages
the
through
nigga from
social
Lab
media.
Rats, bro.
Among them, I hate you, I hate everything about you, and you're the biggest I've ever come in contact with. The messages eventually escalated to a whole new, menacing level, with one in particular reading, "You're dead to me. I'll check the obituary. You." When Emma's parents caught wind of this, Riley was understandably no longer
That's some
allowed in their
bitch
home.
shit, bro. That's some bitch ass
We'll
nigga shit.
fight for the money you deserve. And if you don't win,
Bro,
you
there
pay
is
nothing.
many women in the sea, bro. This is a big ocean, bro. This is a big ocean of the world, my nigga. Look, let me put this in full screen for y'all niggas. It's a big ass ocean, my nigga. It's plenty pussy in the world. And for the women, there's plenty dick in the world. Don't kill somebody over some dumbass shit. My nigga, I didn't even put it in full screen. Don't kill somebody over some dumbass shit, bro. Just find you a new one, bro. And you might even find some bitch that might even listen, bro. Like maybe I won't even say that nigga is weird to be controlling. Some that's it's not necessarily weird. I wouldn't say I wouldn't do that. I'm not a controlling ass nigga. But it's some women that wouldn't mind listening. Like, oh, my boyfriend don't want me to do this. I'ma listen to him because he's my boyfriend. As long as he has not on the weird shit like I'ma beat you type shit. But like if you doing something like they don't like type shit, of course you like I'ma listen. That's my nigga or that's my woman. She gonna listen. I honestly, in my opinion, I would want a submissive woman. If I don't like some shit she doing, I would like, oh yeah. I would want her to be like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna do it because he don't like that I'm doing that. But she was probably wearing some skimpy ass shit. And maybe he was tweaking and then being like just weird, like simple shit, and like him not liking it, like, you know, I don't want you to wear that. But like, nigga, you could have found you a bitch that actually would listen, like, okay, he don't want me to wear this, I'm not gonna wear it. Not this bitch has this one specifically. She gotta listen to me, and then she not gonna listen to me. She thinks she gonna run away from me. I'm gonna kill her. Like, that's some weird ass shit, bro. I don't understand why niggas do that. Just find you a different one. Everything ain't meant to work, bro. If it don't work out, find you another one. There's many. You may not get a second life. You may not get a second chance at life, but you can get a second chance with a woman. It might not be that same woman, but like, my nigga, there's plenty, my nigga. Try again with another. If she not going for it, Just find you a different one. It may seem like you're just running away from that. But my nigga, you not doing what I need you to do and what I expect out of you and what I want out of the relationship. Fuck it, I'm gonna find me another one type shit. Like nigga, I don't know why niggas just fuck up their life over that type. The only way I would say them go to jail may not. The only way I would say, like I was saying earlier, I would go to jail for a woman is if the nigga was threatening her life and then she wasn't going for it. Yeah, I'm gonna protect my woman type shit. That's the only way I would go to jail over a woman if it's to protect her type shit. But if she not listening to me, or she not going away with how I feel, and then she say she love me, she would want to listen. Well, she would want to listen to me, and then some people might not think the same. A lot of people don't think the same. You just gotta find the one that think the same as you. You feel me? Just common interest, common ground. You feel me? Common ground. Cause if my girl didn't, I wouldn't even have honestly, if my girl wasn't feeling some shit I was wearing, and it wasn't on no tweaker shit, like I doubt I'll be wearing something she would be like, oh yeah, I don't like you wearing that. But like if she felt like she didn't like me wearing that and it just made her feel a type of way, I'd be like, hey, I'm not gonna wear it, type shit. But like, hey, if she not doing it, there's other ways to go about it. Why you don't have to kill her?
In an attempt to end communication between her and Riley,
yeah, you're weird, my
but the
nigga.
attempt failed. They advised Emma to break up
Like,
with Riley.
like he was really a controlling ass nigga. If nobody can have you, then you ain't gonna live type shit. If I can't have you, you ain't gonna live.
It can be incredibly difficult for someone
if I
to
can't
leave
have
an
you, you
abusive
can't live.
relationship. Those on the outside often question why someone would stay, but abusers are not abusive all the time, and often have a seemingly loving
Maybe it's
side
because
to
I'm
them.
not that type of
By
person, so
turning
I'll
the
never
charm
get it.
on, abusers are able to
That's
manipulate
crazy,
their
bro.
partner into staying.
I would
or
never
giving
get
the
that. Damn, if
abuser
you're not gonna
another
listen, then I
chance.
can't have you.
However, the
Nobody
cycle of
can,
abuse
not
will
even your
likely
family
continue,
type shit.
and the level of abuse
Like,
can
damn.
escalate over time. And of course, Riley's behavior became increasingly alarming. He began stalking Emma. He'd wait for hours on end outside the supermarket where she worked and continued attempting to speak with her, even after Emma's parents had forbidden contact between the two.
That nigga's on Joe
Finally,
timing.
somewhere around
Is that
early
nigga named
November
Joe?
of 2016,
From
Emma
you,
ended
that
things
nigga's
with
on Joe
Riley.
timing, bro.
In fact, she informed a close friend that they were done for good, and for a matter of about 2 weeks, friends and family had their Emma back. It's important to note that when someone leaves an abusive relationship, this is considered to be the most dangerous time. Once the abuser realizes that none of their usual tactics are working to get their partner back, their violent behavior may escalate because they feel so out of control. Shortly after Emma ended the relationship, Riley allegedly attempted to take his own life. Campus friends took him to the local hospital for treatment, effectively saving his life. Maybe it was then that he made the ultimate decision. If he couldn't have Emma, he'd see to it that no one would.
Nobody could.
Then a crime of convenience presented
that nigga
itself.
crazy.
Back in Riley's previous interrogation,
That
the
nigga
questioning
need to be
turned to the
in a
missing
psychiatric
firearm.
ward.
Investigators are starting to look at the means and access to the
Doped
aspects
up
of the
on
crime,
some shit.
which
On
is,
some-
in a
on
sense,
some type of
Riley's
experimental
ability to
drug.
commit the crime.
Now, I understand that your grandfather has had a gun stolen or missing or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
It was during the week, last week, because he came and switched out my car with his car to go get the oil changed back in Knoxville. So he left his car on campus, but he took his keys with him. And he said when he got back, we switched out cars again, and he took off, and he called me maybe 10 minutes later, or 5 or 10 minutes later, and said, "You know where my gun's at?" I said, "No, I haven't been in your car."
Do you remember what time last week it was?
It might have been Friday then. It was Thursday or Friday he came to do that. But he left his car on campus, but he took his keys with him.
Okay.
So I didn't even go to the car because it only took an hour. He brought my car back, we switched out again, and that's when he got on the road and called me about 5 or 10 minutes later and asked if I messed with his gun.
All right. Does So did you have a way to use his car? I mean, did he give you a set of keys or anything?
No, he took the keys with him.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you had an extra set or, I mean, like, I've got keys to my brother's vehicle.
He's got an extra to my car that he used. I kept my keys on me because I need a key to my door.
Gotcha.
The detective has a few important questions.
This nigga just
But have
fucked
you
up
ever
his life.
taken your grandfather's gun?
No.
Okay. Then
Over
like take
another
the shoulder or
person.
anything, bring it back or nothing like that.
That he could have
Do you have
easily
any idea where your
replaced.
grandfather's clock is now?
Yeah.
Riley maintains constant eye contact here. While many mistakenly believe that eye contact indicates honesty, the opposite
Like,
is
no
true.
homo though. He's not an
Sustained
ugly
eye
nigga, so
contact
like it
typically
wouldn't be
indicates
hard for him.
dishonesty, as
And
the
he in the
individual is
football
carefully
team,
watching to see if their
nigga, bro.
story is
What?
being believed.
I understand.
You
told
in
about
college,
the
my
gun.
nigga. You on a football team.
I had that gun because I was scared about what happened.
Like, nigga, bro.
I know you don't believe me. You probably don't either. Whatever. I'm telling you.
I mean, I don't believe that, but I believe you more that you didn't shoot Emma because that's a big step.
Though we can't be sure which scary occurrence Riley was referring to, we know that the gun went missing before the weekend, and all the events that came with it even arrived. This simply cannot be explained away. Apparently, before Riley actually put the stolen gun to use, he made a couple of last-ditch efforts to reel Emma back in. There was the staged kidnapping, but Emma was wise to his scheming ways and told him to leave her alone. Riley retreated to his friend Noah's home, where he stayed the night. And you probably recall that Noah didn't even buy Riley's story of having been abducted.
I mean, I don't believe that, but I believe you more that you didn't shoot Emma because that's a big step.
Did you tell Noah anything about it?
Yeah. They thought I was messing with them.
This could be an indication that Riley's friends know that he tends to lie or make up stories. Lying is another key trait of individuals with antisocial personality disorder.
You don't gotta lie to kick
These
it, bro.
individuals lie in order to
You don't gotta lie
manipulate
to
others
kick
and
it,
get
bro.
their needs met. Since people with antisocial personality disorder lack empathy, they're often indifferent to the fact that their lies and manipulation can harm others. After the staged kidnapping failed to win Emma back, Riley conjured up a new plan and put it into action the following morning, Saturday, November 19th. The infamous masked man, dressed in all black. Emma was so terrified she'd later tell her friend she thought she was going to die.
So you went to the backyard, check, see if you saw anything. How do you get in the backyard?
A good question here, seeing as how detectives know that a shot was fired into the house from the backyard.
There's off to the right side of her house, there's a gate that has no lock. You can just open up the latches and move it.
Detectives are effectively establishing Riley's familiarity with Emma's house and yard layout, which supports the establishment of ability, knowledge, and opportunity to commit the crime.
Bro.
Riley's knowledge of where
Every
to
time I
shoot
bring
in
a
order
shorty
to
in here,
strike
bro,
or
I'm moving my
frighten
bed
Emma
around.
is an important piece of
Cause
evidence
this ain't just a
related
shit,
to
some
his
shit that a
ability
nigga
to
can
carry
do.
out the crime.
This is some
Of
shit
course,
that
by
a
the
bitch
time
can do,
Riley
a dog
arrived,
can do,
the
a
masked
monkey.
man was conveniently nowhere to be found.
Like
Around that very
it's some
time,
crazy ass
Emma's
shit, bro.
mother
You wouldn't
returned
even think that
home.
somebody even do some shit like this.
Mom's
She
all
probably
there.
like, damn, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, just go to school. This and that. I'm gonna hang with Jessica
Her
tomorrow.
parents aren't fond of me, so she just
Like,
saw me
nigga, she
and
did not
told me
think
to
somebody,
leave.
her boyfriend, her ex,
Coming up to the car, I was like,
was gonna go to her house
to harass her. I was just here because she called for help.
and shoot her
Are
through her
some
wall,
more
bang
authentic
her.
displays of Riley's nonverbals. We can be fairly certain this happened just as he said it, and his gestures are less restrained and more spontaneous. As well, they easily match up with what he's saying.
Her parents didn't care for me at all.
What is that?
Because of the first time we broke up, I had cheated on her. And her parents never forgave me for that, even when she did. And
The
they
first
never
time we
let us,
broke up, I had cheated. Nigga, you
never
didn't
let us
cheat.
have an actual relationship for the remainder of the time we were together. After that, that's when I went back over to Noah's house.
Why do people think that?
Do you have your
Bro,
phone?
if I fuck somebody and we break up, say we are dating, you know, we just stop, like, we break up. Nigga, if I fuck with somebody else, that is not cheating, bro.
After today, I deleted everything.
We weren't dating.
Because I don't want any.
You wasn't my girl. Could I have called you to come over to clap?
But
Hell no.
clearly, there was a motive behind the act, It wasn't just a case of attempting to spare himself the painful memories
Could
that
I
the
even
love he
get to
once
you?
had and
Hell no.
lost.
So how is that
The
cheating?
inspiration behind it was something much more calculated. He wanted to hide the contents of his conversations with Emma and didn't want to leave behind any information related to his whereabouts on the night she was killed. Or maybe the text messages never even happened, and Riley is claiming to have deleted them to explain the absence of messages. It would later be found that another one of Emma's friends had witnessed Riley roaming the neighborhood that morning, dressed in all black. After these most recent failed attempts to lure Emma back into his clutches, Riley had come to a crossroads. Emma had drawn the line in the sand. She was
Kill her
done
or
once
leave
and for all.
her alone.
Riley, it seems, was faced with two choices. For one, he could choose to move on with his own life, just as Emma planned to do. Then there was the other option.
I am here to tell you today that your feelings are valid. Your trauma
God
is
damn her
valid.
got baby.
I
God
discovered
damn she
better
bad.
2 years ago and my life changed. You wear these shoes. You know where.
Just 2 days later, his decision
God
would be
damn.
reflected
I'm gonna get her
in an
braces if
utterly
I mess with
horrendous
her.
act. You probably recall Riley's story of how Sunday night played out. Well, there was more to it than he'd originally led the detectives to believe. In fact, he'd failed to include the most crucial details about Monday's earliest hours.
But you said Sunday night that you left Noah's around 11.
Yeah.
You went back to campus. You said you got there around 11:45.
Called Emma from Max phone.
From Max phone.
Riley had borrowed a phone from his friend Max Siegel, also a football player at Maryville College, because
Max
Emma had either
Keeble.
blocked his number or refused to answer his calls. Coincidentally, Mac was one of the friends who took Riley to the hospital for treatment a week or two earlier, after his attempt to take his own life. Oftentimes, people who are highly manipulative and controlling in relationships will make, or fake, an attempt to take their life as a means of trying to manipulate and control their partner. This is truly the ultimate form of emotional manipulation. This was the point where Riley realized he'd have to log out of his grandmother's computer in order to access
Honestly,
his
I don't know.
college
I don't
email,
understand why
or
people
so it
like
said.
do that though.
Then Riley's story took a peculiar detour.
Like,
A poor attempt
say
to
you
explain
would,
away
like,
an
say you
account
was
of
to
a very
successfully get her
suspicious
back.
alleged conversation
In your
that
mind,
had made its
it'd be
way
like,
back
damn,
to
the only reason she got back with me, not because she loved me still, it's because she felt bad with me. She pitied me.
Walker's there.
Yes.
So
Maybe that's just me
how
though,
you
because
have
I hate
conversations
for people to
when you
pity
come in
me.
at 12:15 about how to
Like,
get
that's my ego. I hate for you,
fingerprints on
somebody to
It
pity
wasn't
me.
a conversation with him.
In this case,
I
like
walked
in the
there,
case of
and I was
love,
about to get on my laptop,
I hate
so was
to,
thinking
I hate
maybe
for somebody
5
to love
minutes,
me out
and
of
then
pity.
realized that I had to go back to log myself out of my Maryville College email address. And he was
I
like,
can't say all
hey,
pity. I hate all
I have this
pity.
rifle or whatever. He was like,
But I hate for like if somebody's like, damn, I'm gonna give you $1,000 because I pity you. I'm like, oh fuck, it, I'm gonna give you $1,000. But like in the case of love, like I couldn't see myself making somebody pity me in order to
Riley
get
has
them
made a
back.
poor attempt to establish an alternate set of facts in
Like,
order
damn,
to
they only
cover
do me
up the
'cause they feel bad
conversation
for me.
about removing fingerprints on a firearm. However, detectives likely believe they have established Riley's knowledge of guilt, despite the fact that Riley was in a state of despair after the phone call with Emma hadn't gone well. He took the time to research the question further.
And when I called Noah upset about that, I told Noah on the phone, I said, when I asked him that question, he was like, it's a really sketchy question to ask. And I was like, I know, but you're the first person on the phone, so I figured I would just ask you.
Detectives had to have detected deception in that far-fetched tale. Of course, they let that one go for the time being and continued with Riley's account of that fateful Monday morning.
And then you went back to your grandparents?
Yes, to log out of their laptop.
He hides his hands in his pocket here, a gesture intended to give someone a sense of comfort and safety in a situation that is clearly becoming increasingly more stressful.
Got back to campus around 1 and you said you sat in the car and wept for 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah, just cried.
And why was that?
I just kept, because I knew she wasn't going to come back, and I've always gotten her to come back in the past, and I was just, she blocked me on everything, so I couldn't send her anything. The only thing I could send her messages on was Twitter, and that's when I told you I sent that message around 1. I just told her, how much I loved her, and
honestly.
that I was sorry that she didn't want what we had anymore, and that I hoped that she was going to do great things in the future.
It appears that Riley is picking at his nails here, which is a grooming gesture. Grooming behaviors alone are not a definite sign of deception, but they do indicate that the person may be feeling uncomfortable and is trying to release some anxiety, possibly because they're lying. Despite Riley saying how much he loved Emma, there's no emotion in his voice to support this, and he hasn't expressed any interest in finding out what happened to her.
And I told her I was going to leave her alone after that.
But there was one more thing he had to do before he'd leave her alone.
You ran back saw you in your car?
Not that I know of. I was looking at my phone all the time, looking at pictures of us.
For 3 hours?
2.5 maybe. I just sat there and cried. I've done that before.
This window of time supposedly spent in his car is a convenient explanation of his whereabouts for those 3 hours, which we know was precisely the time that Emma was killed in her room. Also convenient is the fact that no one saw him because he was alone in his car. So a roommate, for instance, can't be questioned later and asked when Riley returned to the dorm that night. Riley, the master manipulator, is using his go-to tactic, his supposed emotional distress. The detective then deferred to his partner and asked if he had any questions. However, Riley was wise to the tactic.
That only worked for women, nigga, and not even that worked for women.
I didn't know cops actually did that shit, and they do. Because the one that was being decent was asking me all the questions, and then when he was done, he'd be like, do you have any questions? And then the guy would just be like, yeah, I was just wondering why you're a little foggy on who you're with, and you seem like you're kind of lying to it. And I was like, I'm not lying.
Yet it didn't quite unfold like Riley had described.
You worked at Ingles, did you not?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had any disturbance or anything with her at Ingles?
Disturbances.
Have y'all ever gotten a fight in the parking lot or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't remember what day, but it was a week, maybe a week and a half ago. I met her when she was going into work because she had done the same thing she'd been doing. She'd been blocking me, telling me that she was done, and I went there and I told her I was trying to just get her to reason with me.
Then the bad cop has a few more pertinent questions for Riley.
And every time I've talked to somebody, the gun has come up, the Ingles apartment. You threaten her with a gun, they're saying that I may have a gun and I don't want nobody else to have you or anything like that?
Not in the Ingles apartment.
Not there, but have you done that before then?
No, I've never done that.
Why does people say that you may have a gun?
Why do you say not in the
I don't know.
I mean, they're your friends, they're your boys, they're your peeps. Why would they keep telling me that you have a gun? Help me understand that. So does Alex, Isaac, and Noah is your three best friends?
3 of them, yes.
So you spent all weekend with Noah, correct?
We're close.
Okay.
Are they liars? Are they dishonest?
Everybody's a liar. Are they honest?
No, not necessarily.
Everybody lies. I don't know why they would lie.
Yeah, everybody lies.
Common misconception that I
Would one of them have it?
The cop is being disingenuous. Everybody lies, bro.
Does somebody in your circle have it?
Nobody could get to it. My grandfather always kept it under his car or under the bed.
Naturally, Riley wasn't pleased that his friends had disclosed information about the gun they knew he had in his possession. His displeasure is clearly reflected in a text message thread between him and his friend Alex, shortly after Riley's only interview took place. Why did you tell him about the gun? Riley asks Alex. They think I shot her because of it. Please text me back. Among Alex's replies, if you didn't do anything, you have nothing to hide. Why did you tell me you were trying to get rid of the gun? You lied and said you already gave it back to your grandpa. Then, that evening, Riley followed up with some...
homie, bro. I'm not saying he should have did it or anything. There's ways to go about it, my nigga. I'm not saying he shouldn't have did. That's weird, very weird to do. I don't know why the fuck he did that. He a shit ass human being. But nigga, if you gonna do some shit like that, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. That's where niggas really fuck up. They just talk too much.
For both Alex and Noah.
I'm not saying
What I'm
I know a
saying
lot
is,
about shit, but
if I have to go to
like that's
court
the
or in front of a
obvious
grand
thing
jury or
to not
anything,
tell
and you have to
nobody.
testify, or if the cops come and talk to
People,
you,
like he
then
said, people lie.
whenever you talk to them,
Why
just
would
be
you
like, you're
trust
too
him
afraid
to think he
tell
wouldn't
them
tell
that you
them the
were on
truth?
acid because you
He
thought you were going to
lied
get in
to you
trouble.
saying
Yeah, that's true.
he was
Never
not gonna
do
tell
that,
nobody, or
yeah, and
for you to trust
anything
him.
about that gun, just
Why would
say,
you
I
risk
must have
that and then
misunderstood or
tell
something
somebody?
because I was tripping balls. I really don't know what was going on. He was just, like, Riley was just complaining to me about some stuff. I guess I thought I heard something about a gun, and his grandfather thinking that he took it.
That's
you
where he
know,
fucked up at.
if you tell him you're
If
on
you
LSD,
if you
you were
was trying to
drunk,
get
and
away
you're
with this
high,
shit,
your mind was altered. Whatever statement you give them wasn't a straightforward answer. If you just tell them that you were on acid, high, and drunk, and just you didn't really understand what I was saying, you just kind of went along with it. I just tell them I was the only sober person here. And I guess I'll talk to Isaac, because Isaac's going to be sketchy about that too, with telling the cops that he was on a drug. But
oh, like, nigga, put your phone away. Who you texting the police?
Need skills for an auto tech career? Universal Technical
Nigga,
Institute's
I'll be on
automotive
edge.
technology
Like, nigga, why you got your phone out, nigga? I'm talking
in-demand
confidential information. Why the fuck you got your phone out?
industry-aligned technical.
The
Who
detectives
you talking
decide
to?
it's time to confront Riley. It's obvious
Oh, you
he isn't
snitching,
being
nigga?
forthcoming with them, and they definitely aren't convinced by his elaborate lies. They apply more pressure as they lay it all out for him.
We have a gun that belongs to your grandfather that is missing. Okay? We have all your friends saying that you've been talking about this gun. We have one of your friends saying that he saw you with the gun, that you showed him the gun, and that you told him you got it from your grandfather. Okay?
Okay.
I find it hard to believe these guys are just making this shit up.
I don't have anything else to
Nigga,
say.
if I would never do some shit like that. But if I ever, nobody would
I
know.
think it's going to be the same question.
I would never do some shit like that.
Riley is clearly frustrated at this point, but he sticks with his original story and remains consistent. In a last-ditch effort to get more from Riley, the detectives divulge a bit of what they found
Nigga,
so
just
far.
like in the last video about when the girl got burned alive. She, even though it was obvious she already did it, her dumb ass go telling people the whole story and timeline. Like, nigga, what are you talking about? At that point, it's like, for her case, it's already like, damn, I'm already caught. So fuck yeah.
Look at his hand
But in
movement.
his case,
Even
like, why
while
the
in his
fuck?
pocket, his hands shift up to cover his stomach when he's told the bullets
Niggas
match
wouldn't
his
even know I have a gun.
grandfather's
And if I had that gun, it'd probably be a
When
second
someone
gun I
finds themselves
use.
in a vulnerable situation, they may put their hands over their stomach to comfort themselves and feel more protected. When a suspect doesn't show a level of concern that is appropriate for the situation, detectives will see this as a red flag. While it's true that people may handle grief and difficult news differently, having a complete lack of reaction to finding out the cause of your loved one's unexpected death would be unusual for someone who is innocent. Riley's focus throughout the interrogation has remained on himself, and he hasn't expressed any interest in finding out what happened to the girl he supposedly loved. Of course, we're now aware that he knows exactly what happened to Emma.
If I am able to find your grandfather's gun,
That nigga did it,
then I can match that to these rounds that I found and determine whether or not that gun and these rounds are actually from the same place. So, help me.
I'm helping you.
Okay.
I don't know.
I understand that.
But Riley sticks to his story.
Your timeline, while it's somewhat consistent,
That's the only thing he did correct this whole time. Up
There's
until he
one
probably
major
confesses.
hole in his story.
Deny.
You sat in the car for 3 hours and wept.
Yeah,
let me ask you, did you call anybody during that time? Any friends or family or anything like that?
Of course, Riley can't recall for sure. He'd have to take a look at his cell phone, which conveniently is not on him at this time. But with the help of local cell towers, Riley's path during those 3 hours is traced. And the findings completely destroy his story.
People, I don't know
Riley
why
left
people know.
campus
I didn't even
before
realize. One thing I
12:15
didn't know is
a.m., just as he'd
they
stated.
really
However,
actually
he
take
didn't
the
return until
GPS from your
approximately
car
4:20 a.m.
if you
At
drive
the time
somewhere.
Emma's death was
If
estimated
it's
to have
able to be
occurred,
taken.
roughly around 3 a.m.
They really take
Riley
the
was clearly
GPS
in the
fucking
vicinity of Emma's home,
shit from your
nowhere
car to track
near
that
the
shit.
college campus. This evidence is difficult to refute, to say the least, As the interview is coming to a close, the bad cop drops one more bombshell on Riley.
Outside that house today.
We know you did.
The house was shot up, a couple rounds. All right. The rounds that were found out there, hold on. Okay. The rounds that were found out there came from your grandfather's gun. I don't know where the gun's at.
So my grandfather did it?
Who would want to shoot that? Who would want to take your grandfather's gun and take it to that house and shoot at that house?
My grandfather. I would have blamed him. No, I'm playing.
Do you know anybody who'd want to do that?
My grandfather did it.
Anyone that would ever want to hurt that girl.
Riley's detachment and lack of feeling for Emma is evidenced in the way he repeatedly refers to her as that girl, rather
I
than
told my
using her
grandfather
name.
about the whole thing.
This
He
also
thought it'd
allows
be
him to distance
smart to
himself
get
from
our
her.
revenge.
Riley remains unaffected by the
And then once
pressure
he did
and
it, I
is
felt
very
so
confident.
bad.
So much so that
I
it
killed him,
almost seems
so
as
he
if
can't
this is
defend
something
himself.
he's familiar
Nah, that's
with.
wild.
Though Riley
Nah,
may
that's
appear
fucked up.
unaffected
That's
by the
wild.
pressure, he's rubbing his face, which is generally considered to be a self-soothing behavior.
What?
Then the detective proposes
Is it food,
a potential
nigga?
explanation.
I'm not saying that all
Is it money?
I maybe somebody trying to scare her or something. I'm not saying that that's what.
She got me some chips. Hold up. Thank you. Okay. She reimbursed me. She didn't reimburse the nigga. She didn't have to, but thank you. Shit.
Intentionally trying to shoot her. The detective is probably hoping that Riley will find himself cornered and then ultimately confess to this less severe explanation of Emma's death. Make a mental note of the detective's explanation.
Maybe somebody's trying to scare her or something. I'm not saying that that's what's happened over there.
You'll see that it will surface again shortly. At this point, the detectives have found themselves between a rock and a hard place. They're not gaining any ground. The interview is concluded. Riley seems confident that he's outmaneuvered the detectives, as if he already has this one in the bag.
They interrogated me for
Nigga,
2.5
you
hours.
in-maneuvered, my
They
nigga.
would have arrested me already.
Riley is likely feeling confident that as long as he gets rid of the gun, the detectives won't have enough evidence to convict him. He may have an inflated sense of self-esteem and believe he can outsmart the police and even get away with murder. However, as he sits on this very sofa before two of his closest friends and feeds them...
Nigga, the only nigga that got away with murder that I know of is
enforcement,
O.J. Simpson.
there's
And that
much more
nigga's
going
dead.
on behind the scenes than he could ever imagine. The sting operation was carried out
He gonna pay for that wherever he go.
just one day
That's the
after
only nigga
Emma
I
was
know of that got
murdered,
away with murder.
and Riley was questioned. As you heard, everything went down as planned, and the operation proved to be a success. When the trial rolled around in May of 2018, Riley and his attorneys adopted a creative defense. You probably recall this.
I'm not saying that all that saying is trying to hurt her. Maybe somebody's trying to.
They interrogated me for 2.5 hours. If they could, they would have arrested me already.
Riley is likely feeling confident that
That's not
as long
true.
as he
I
gets
learned
rid
that
of
with
the
the other
gun,
people.
the detectives won't have enough evidence to convict him. He may have an inflated sense of self-esteem and believe
I think
he
they
can
let you
outsmart
go
the
for you to do
police
dumb
and
shit
even
to get
away
yourself
with
caught up.
murder.
Like, damn, they let me go. Here's my chance to
However,
do
as he sits on this
get
very
away,
sofa
get rid of
before
everything.
two of his closest friends and feeds
Nigga,
them
he
false
should have known they was
information
gonna
to
be
relate
following
to
this
law
nigga,
enforcement.
stalking
There's
you
much more
until
going
you
on
did something with
behind
the
the
weapon.
scenes than he could ever imagine. The sting operation was carried out Tuesday night, just one day after Emma was murdered, and Riley was questioned. As you heard, everything went down as planned, and the operation proved to be a success. When the trial rolled around in May of 2018, Riley and his attorneys adopted a creative defense. You probably recall this.
I'm not saying that all that saying is trying to hurt her. Maybe somebody's trying to scare her or something. I'm not saying that that's what's happened over there. But I'm saying that the house was shot.
Scare.
No, I don't know anyone that would want to do that.
So his
Well,
defense would be
according to
he
his
didn't
attorney,
intend to murder
Riley
her.
had
He
never
wanted to scare
intended
her.
to harm Emma. The two gunshots that pierced the exterior walls of her home were simply another attempt to scare Emma, in hopes she'd reach out to him for help once again. He never intended to shoot her, they claimed. In the end, though, the jury found no credibility in the defense. Riley was found guilty of stalking, theft, reckless endangerment, possession of a firearm during a dangerous felony, and, of course, first-degree murder. And in Tennessee, a first-degree murder conviction is accompanied by an automatic life sentence. In keeping with her thoughtful nature, March 24th will remain Emma Walker Day in Knoxville.
I think she got the chair.
It will remain a time to recall the happy memories and perform random acts of kindness in memory of a kind soul whose life was cut far too short.
That's crazy, man. What the fuck that say?
When two young men suspect a member of their own
Cops
circle may be
discover missing kids hitting on predator's compound.